Omar Rodriguez of the Metal Mixtape and many other projects and bands and things. How are you doing, man?
Dude, I am fantastic. Anytime I get the opportunity to talk to one of my friends in the music industry and just shoot the shit, I am super excited, man.
Awesome. For everybody that doesn't know, Omar is the voice of the Metal Mixtape on KSKQ. He's had articles published in all the metal media outlets. And Omar, what's the newest thing that you've got going on?
Honestly, man, I have a new band that we're going to be right now. We're finishing the album, but we're trying to do it right, man. I'm 34. We've been in a lot of projects, and we've never done it like I feel like the legit way, where like you have a music video, you have your merch, you have your album out before you even play one show. Because one of the biggest downfalls I've ever had is like playing a show you're not ready for. Because I hate the whole, like, I feel like I'm too old for the whole, oh, we'll do better next time. You know what I mean? I feel like, like Peyton Manning, one of my favorite football players, he always said he was never nervous because he was always prepared. You know what I mean? So that's why he was never nervous. And anytime I've ever been nervous, I thought about it. It was like, it's because I was under rehearsed. I had some insecurities in the background. And also, like, when you do play a killer show and you have nothing to show for it, it really sucks. You know what I mean? So you know what? I'm getting older. I'm not getting that many shots left. So this time around, like, hopefully by like June, we'll already have our album completely published, our merch going, and like a couple professional videos. So I have that's my newest thing. I'm constantly doing a lot of things. I just started my own comedy club, so I'm doing my first comedy show because I just started doing stand-up comedy because I love what I love about stand-up comedy is that, like, when you go to a comedy show, like, nobody's there to get their feelings hurt. No, everybody's there to have a good time because we live such a short life, and in reality, we all love each other, but also at the same time, we all kind of hate each other too, I guess, and we all just got to laugh about it.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff going on. The whole like band thing. You're absolutely right. I mean, especially nowadays, like, to be taken seriously, you have to have all that legwork done. You've got to have a video. You have to have a great sounding album. And how many bands have been successful, whatever that looks like for them, by having the complete package ready to go. And like you talked about being prepared, and like Peyton Manning, you've practiced, you know what you're doing. It's become a routine. That's how you're successful. So, I mean, I totally get that. And when do you plan on having your album come out, or your EP?
I'm hoping by like June, man. So this time around, I'm not playing any. So I played guitar for the last 3 years, and I'm going back to doing strictly vocals because it's always been my strong point. Also, like, in the bottom of my heart, like, if I'm in a project, I either have to be playing guitar 100% or I have to be singing 100%. And I've always just felt that, like, I was a better singer just because, like, I love to entertain. You know what I mean? I feel like my favorite singers and best singers in the world, like, they have to have the energy, they have to have the charisma, they have to be loose on stage. My favorite singers have always been like Steven Tyler and Freddie Mercury, like, like those types that are like running around stage, like really personable. They feel the music, they're not so stiff. You know what I mean? And they get me all juiced up, man. You know what I mean? Like even as much as crap as like Axl Rose got, like, back in his early 20s and 30s, like he was unstoppable. You know what I mean? Same with what's his name? Oh, my God. Was it Lee? What's Lee Roth's first name?
David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth. Yeah. So yeah, I know. I just yeah. So the album's gonna be sick, man. Gonna be a lot of melodic vocals. But you know what? I'm gonna do like a lot of new age melodic vocals. You know what I mean? Like a lot of falsettos, but like with like new age music. So like it'll have like the range of like wanting to sing like Bruce and like Floor Jansen, but it's more of like having that behind like some like modern like deathcore, progressive core, and the whole core family.
Nice, man.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully June. But this time around, I'm putting all the all my cards into my guitar player's hand. I'm letting him lead this ship. I realize that like when I stretch myself in too many avenues, I'm not able to commit as best as I could to one avenue. So I told him, I was like, look, you figure it out. I want you to take the reins, because I feel like to be a good captain, you also have to be like a good deputy. You know what I mean? So I was just like, dude, like if you run the ship and you're a good captain, like, dude, I'll have your back, dude. But like, I already run a YouTube channel. I already run a festival. I'm doing comedy now. And then also like I'm a dad, and then I have to work all week, and I'm already driving too many ships. And and when I feel like if you want to be successful, you also have the right people around you because I mean it is all about how you perceive yourself and your work ethic and everything. But at the same time, like it's incredible how fast you'll move with the team.
Absolutely, man. And as a leader, you have to learn to delegate that responsibility because you
Yeah.
can't be. It's not about being incapable. It's
Yeah.
about being able to get the job done. And I think that especially like in a band context, having someone that that you can rely on and everybody can rely on each other. That's good for morale. And like you talk about singers like Freddie Mercury or Floyd Jensen, or great vocalists, and even Axl Rose. And I think that, in my opinion, like the vocalist is a personification of the band.
Yeah. I agree.
So let's talk about the comedy thing, dude.
Okay.
How did that all come to happen?
Okay, so straight up, dude, I've been loving comedy since I was a little kid. To be honest, when I was a little kid, I've always wanted to be an actor before a musician. I've always wanted to be an actor. I've always been like out front, I've always been like the loud, like attention like freak, like not like in a piece of crap way, but I always loved having fun. And I grew up in a very unfiltered household, so I was swearing at a young age. In the household we were watching like Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, and like my parents would let me watch the whole specials when I was a teenager. I grew up like on Def Comedy Jam. I grew up on a lot of comedians coming out of like the Apollo, the Apollo Theater, and I really grew up with that culture. I'm not gonna lie, I grew up with a lot of like African American culture as a kid, and I also grew up with like underground like Latino comedians. But I also grew up like on George Carlin, and also one of like my favorite people ever that really pushed me and inspired me was Howard Stern. I was so obsessed with Howard Stern. I love this show. I listened to his radio show religiously. I watched it all on E. And the thing is, man, it's like I grew up always talking shit. And the thing is, it's like and I always talk shit so I could feel the vibe out in my room. Like when I'm in a group of friends, and and I don't try to come off as like just like insensitive or anything, but it's like I just feel like people are like they're too tightened up and they're too stressed out all the times, like especially here, man. Like I think the United States is like the best country in the world, and the thing is, we're so fortunate. I mean, look, we're on devices talking to each other freaking a couple hundred miles away, and we're able to have like this conversation, a conversation of freedom of speech. And I feel like people and also everybody's different, and everybody I know goes through their own problems in life. But anytime you hang around me, man, it's like I want you to be as loose as possible. I want you to be yourself. You're not going to be judged. You're going to be loved for what you're doing, man. And and I've always wanted to do stand up comedy. And one of the things that pushed me to start doing stand up was me not doing any music. You know what I mean? Because my guitar player, he was like, dude, I need like a year or so to like write this album. And in my head, I was like, dude, I can't stop creating content. I can't stop talking, and radio wasn't enough for me. YouTube wasn't enough for me. And I watch comedy religiously online. Like I listen to more comedy than I listen to music. You know what I mean? Like realistically, I listen, because the thing is, I listen to music as like it's already so much of my outlet. You know what I mean? Like when I'm doing radio shows, I get sent like 30 albums. So I'm going through like all these albums, and like when I do interviews too, I like to be respectful. So when I do an interview of like it's a 14 track album, I'll have like 2 sheets of paper and I'll leave like a paragraph space for each song. and I'll listen to it. I'll never skip. I never fast forward. I literally listen to the entire song because the best interviews I've ever had too, where like the interviews where like the artist has been like, dude, like nobody's ever really brought up that song, or nobody's, everybody, because like a lot of times when you do interviews, they're like talk about the singles, talk about the music videos, talk about when the album's going to come out, key topics. But then at the end of the interviews, they're like talk about whatever you want,
Right.
But comedy, dude, it's like, dude, I didn't, I'm one of those people that like I constantly need an outlet, and I decided to do my first open mic. And and all I did was just talk about funny stories I went through, and I'm super comfortable on stage. And I realized that doing stand-up comedy, half of the bit is being able to be comfortable on stage. You know what I mean? And then carrying yourself second and coming up with good punchlines. And yeah, I did my first show and I killed it. And I've never, and getting a rush off laughter is like hardcore. And also the thing is, when you're up there with a mic, you don't have any music playing, you don't have all these equipment, so it's solely reliant on you. You're going off your wit. You know what I mean? And so it's a whole different rush. So like when you're going up there and it's dead silence and all you have is a mic and you do jokes and the whole room laughs, it's like a whole different rush, man. So I've only done like a few open mics. But I'm diving right in, dude. Like, I'm a promoter, so and, I know how to throw shows. I know how to get my community together. So I was like, kind of like a capitalist. I was like, I'm gonna do comedy now. Yeah, I don't know, but I love it, man. All the comedians in town are super great, and honestly, like I've always felt like musicians and comedians were like the people I was born to be around with, because I love shooting the shit. I love just laughing, man, and and I feel like a lot of people that are comedians are the people that have had like the most depression, the most anxiety, the most everything, and just like how Robin Williams was, dude. It's like he doesn't want anybody else to feel the pain he felt, so his outlet was making people happy because somebody who's able to control their emotions and depression and anxiety, they don't want anybody else to feel like that. So they find that outlet to make everybody around them happy. So yeah, long story short, basically.
No, that's really cool, man. And I mean, there's a lot of good information there, and there's a lot of like, different faucets. Like you brought up, like being a musician. I mean, essentially, you can hide behind an instrument, or if you're a front man, you can hide behind a band. I think it would take a little more courage, to be honest, to walk up on a stage with a microphone with nothing around for a distraction and go, all right, I'm gonna tell you guys some jokes or funny stories, and hopefully it goes over well. Instead of going, I can just there's some distractions going on. I mean, it's got to be a really lonely feeling, but I'm sure that the exchange of energy with the audience is really cool. And it's just on what it is on its own merit. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. But not to take away being a musician, because being a musician's hard as hell, dude. And by the way, if I keep looking down in the interview, it's because I do this thing where like I'm collecting my thoughts. But I know I do that a lot when people talk to me. They're like, "Can you give me eye contact?" I'm like this. I'm like, I'm like I'm always have like 5 things going on in my head at once, so I'm like concentrating on one thing. It's almost like moving my brain power to one part of my brain.
For sure, man. I get it.
Yeah, no, but no, it's definitely different, man. I've in my life, man, I've always just wanted to be an entertainer, whether it's acting, playing music or comedy. And believe it or not, my first outlet I ever had that actually inspired me to do anything was I used to do a lot of poetry in the 6th grade. And I remember one time my teacher told me after class, and she's like, "Omar, this is really good." And I remember she entered me through all the poetry contests in my schools, and I kept winning awards. And
Nice.
that's the first time I ever went up in front of a crowd was when I got like 2nd place in this massive Northern California poetry contest for my age bracket. And they brought me up in front of the gymnasium with like 500 people, and they had me like they had me recite the poem in front of 500 people. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and so I was 13 years old, and that's the first time I ever got that experience. And when I did it, I felt so good about myself, like because I was always like insecure growing up. I never had like a lot of confidence, but I did have it. It's just that I wanted to show it, but I didn't know how, But I popped my cherry when that happened, and then when I got off stage, and I was like, you know what, that wasn't that easy. I mean, that wasn't that hard, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
great.
so then I just started pursuing all sorts of avenues, and yeah, man, I really got my start in 2016, and it's just been great ever since.
Well, you're doing good stuff, man. I mean, you're like you said, you're a promoter. Your shows are always successful. You had the Medford Metal Fest thing going on. You're doing the band thing. You've been in bands. You guys opened for Anthrax. That's freaking huge. I mean, you're doing the comedy thing. So, what was that experience like, dude? Like, I mean, as a musician, you play shows and this and that, but getting to play with Anthrax, what was that like? Like, what was that whole day like? Did you have?
You really want? So you okay? So here's the thing. We found out the week before the show we were playing with Anthrax. So I'll tell you this. The first time I've ever heard of Anthrax was when I got the Ozfest DVD, one of the first ones, and they were playing Cotton and Mosh like in Germany at like a Wackenfest or something. So, of course, I grew up. My first Metallica album was Injustice for All. To be honest, I never really got into Slayer when I was younger, or Megadeth, or Anthrax. I think the only reason I knew of Anthrax was because Public Enemy's Bring the Noise. You know what I mean? Because like in my household, we were really huge into like hip hop. Like all my brothers and sisters were all into rap. I loved gangster rap when I was younger. I loved NWA, Ice Cube, and the Dog Pound, and Nate Dogg, and Warren G, and all that. But dude, so there was oh my god. So I remember it was a week before. We knew what they were playing, but we didn't know who the openers were, right? Nobody knew who the openers were. The show was already like sold out. And I remember getting a call from my friend Jim, and he's like, dude, I was the promoter asked me if I knew a band who could play, and I had like a dozen bands in my head, and at that year, I mean, we played like 60 shows that year. We were really busy as Insanity's Reign. We were playing 3 to 4 shows a weekend. Like we were really pushing it. And he called me, and I remember I was at work and I had to step outside, and he told me, he's like, dude, of course, there's an Anthrax show going on. And I was thinking really hard about it. He's like, I think you're the only band who could work really hard and fit the bill. You know what I mean? And I remember when he told me that, I fell to my knees. My hands started shaking, and I screamed as loud as possible. And I started crying a little bit. And one of the things why it not only wasn't fulfilling, and but the thing is, I was so excited to tell my bandmates about it. I was just as excited to hear to do it as to hear to tell my bandmates, because as soon as I got off, because my bandmates, they were all in their 50s, old school thrashers. They grew up on Exodus, Forbidden, and all those bands back in the day. You know what I mean? And I was super excited, man. And I mean, it's a dream come true, man. And the thing is, in my head, like, I'm not gonna lie, in my head, I always feel like I need to be on those stages and everything, and it's just like, and I also feel like for things that happen in life, you have to believe they will. You have to talk them into fruition. You know what I mean? You have to believe it's gonna happen. But the thing is, I remember he told me that, and immediately their tour manager sent me the day schedule. Day schedules.
Yeah, the day sheet.
I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the day sheet and everything. And I was like, oh, what's this? We had to get our first ever stage plot, our first ever input list, because we've never done a stage plot. We've never done an input list. So we had to get all that ready, and I remember calling my bandmates, and it felt so great, man, because like they've been playing music for like 30 years, and they've never done anything even remotely, not even close, like not even really played for any, because Insanity's Reign was out for 4 years before I joined. So the band never really did anything at those lengths. And so it felt really good to call my friend Dan. And I was like, Dan, I was like, guess who is opening? Because we were direct support. You know what I mean? It was us.
That's awesome.
There was only two bands on the bill. It was us and Anthrax. So so we were like right before them, right?
Man, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we had an hour set. Yeah, they gave us an hour. So, we played our whole catalog. We played 13 songs. So, but the thing is, it's like, so I remember calling my friend Dan, and I was like, dude, guess who is opening for Anthrax? He's like, us? And he's like, yeah. And I remember he put his phone down and like he started like crying and hugging his wife. He's like, guess what, honey? He's like, guess what? You know what I mean? He's like, where? He's like, guess who's open? You know, and I call my friends, we were all excited. I remember I asked my boss if I could leave work that day because my brain was all fumbled.
Oh yeah, after that kind of news, I'm sure you're just like, dude, this is an intense thing, you know?
Yeah. So it was at the Ashland Armory, and I remember that's the day of the show. We went in and we sound checked. We got to see Joey Belladonna and a bunch of them just walking around and stuff. I got to see a lot of like famous guitar techs I've seen in like big festivals. You know what I mean? I could recognize these faces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was almost like Anthrax had like a British road crew or something. You know, they're all like kind of like English or something like that. But I remember setting up on stage, dude, and just seeing this big big venue. And I remember the show didn't start till 8. And we were already sound checked by 6. And I remember we had our own little what is it, like break rooms or whatever, like our own
like
little
a green room or whatever.
Yeah, we had our own green room. And I remember one of my friends, the band wanted to smoke a cigarette, so the security escorted us through the back to go to like have a cigarette. And I remember the whole venue was completely wrapped in people, right? But the thing is that since we were Medford locals, about 200 of the people out there knew who we were. So have you ever seen the movie Joe Dirt?
Oh, of course.
Okay, do you know when he leaves the radio station, he leaves through the back door, how he goes out and everybody cheers him?
Yeah.
That literally happened to us, dude. So we literally opened up the back door and immediately 200 people were clapping, jumping up and down, like insanity. Like there must have been like 80 Insanity's rain shirts out there.
That's great.
And everybody's cheering, and it was so nostalgic, dude. You know what I mean? I was 28 at the time when that happened, you know, and it was so nostalgic, and I was just like, it was the greatest feeling in the world, man, honestly. And going up there on stage and playing in front of 2,000 people, like from the crowd before that, your biggest being like 150 to 200. You know, it was one of the greatest feelings in the world. And honestly, if it wasn't, I feel like that's the show that that boosted the rest of my career. Because the thing is like it was after I got that high, I never wanted to come down.
Oh, for sure, man.
You know what I mean? So when we got that high, I pushed hard on everything, dude. And I realized that after doing that show, I realized how small the music scene was, like on the next level. And I realized that like I should take it seriously, but I shouldn't be so intimidated by it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, you deserve to be there. And I think everybody does. I mean, if you're willing to do the work and work hard, everybody deserves to be there. And that's really the way that the world goes around.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I realized that, like, you know, that's why I started taking chances, man. Like with doing radio, man, like nobody knows that like I used to send out like 1,000 emails, like legit. And I would get bites on like 2 emails every like 500 to 600 that I would send. You know what I mean? And I just started off small, man. And but the thing is, it's like you also have to get comfortable with being told no all the time, and also not taking it personal. You know, I think a lot of like if you get into journalism and interviews, is that, you know, all these people have their own lives, and all these people have families and their own problems they're going with. And if they can't do an interview, they're not an asshole for it. It's that they have their own life, man. You know what I mean? Like give them a break. You know what I mean? Like not to say the person's name, but this person came out and they're like, oh, this artist is like an asshole because he didn't have time to wish happy birthday to my family. I'm like, dude, it is what it is, dude. Like, don't you ever take consideration that he has his own mental shit going, that maybe he's been touring and doing interviews all week and he needs a break? Absolutely. Like, yeah, musicians should be humble and happy, but the thing is, they're normal people too. and you got to treat them like people. You got to treat them with respect. So I always tell people they're going to journalism and everything. I'm like, dude, don't take everything so personal. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's exhausting if you do. And I mean, like you said, not being afraid of being told no. And just because it's no one time or one day doesn't mean it's no forever. I mean,
yeah,
that's the way life works. That's the whole like one door closes, another thing open, or another door opens kind of thing. So I hear you, man. And even in the music business, it's like if you want to do something and, it doesn't pan out or this and that, just there's no point to get discouraged. And like you talked earlier about being successful, like you having the feeling of like accomplishment from, playing that show with Anthrax, and rightfully so. And it's like, it propels you forward. So, you want to keep that feeling going. And I think that, even if you're, like doing good stuff and like having to take a step back from it, like if you're on tour or you're playing a lot of shows and having a good time and you're playing real well, those moments where you're down, the positive moments, get you through.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I totally agree with that, man. And, yeah, man, just work hard and you will accomplish things, man. But the thing is, it's like, be okay with taking all those baby steps, because it's going to take a lot of baby steps, just to talk about myself for a second. It's like a lot of people thought that like I got everything handed to me, but they don't know that they don't know the hundreds of hours I put in. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, it's like when you start having success, I feel like a lot of times, people like they try to guess how you got there. But they don't know exactly how you got there. So like there's still times where people are like, "How much you pay for that?" Or "How much did you pay for this?" Or "How much did you pay?" I'm like, "Dude, I didn't pay anything." Like you just have to work hard, man. And I always tell everybody, I was like, dude, like don't get discouraged, man. And you know what? I always tell them like to cut out certain like vices and get like a routine going. Cause like what I do every weekend is that I have a routine. And so on Saturdays and Friday nights, I know I'm gonna create content only. I'm not watching Netflix. I mean, I'll have something in the background, but the thing is, it's like I'm not like I feel better about doing my vices once I know I've accomplished all my goals for the day. You know what I mean? Like if I grind all day, it's way easier for me to have a beer at the end of the night than just having a beer after a day of doing nothing.
Well, yeah, it's like the discipline. You have to be disciplined and consistent in its actual work. Like, if you want to be successful, you're going to have to freaking work at it. There's no other way around it.
Oh yeah, and also like you have to like be accountable. You got to know that if you didn't accomplish something or things aren't working out in your life, that is it's 100% your fault. It's nobody else's fault. Like one of my biggest pet peeves when I go to work is when people complain about their job, because and I always tell them, I'm like, dude, every decision that you've made in your life has led up to this. It isn't the supervisor's fault that you're not making enough money. It isn't the manager's fault that you have to work on the weekends. It's your fault for making all these decisions that led you to where you're at now. So be thankful you're at work and be thankful you have a job. But at the same time, you got to be able to take accountability, and that's with everything. Like if there's like talking about being prepared before a show. If I forgot a lyric, if I missed a part and everything, it's because I didn't rehearse enough. I didn't take that time to prepare. You know what I mean? And I know everybody makes mistakes, man, but the older you get in life, it's like you just really got to take accountability for yourself and know that, like, dude, it's like there is times where it legit isn't your fault, but I feel like at least 99% of the time, like you have control of what's happening, and that goes with everything, not just your dreams, but like your health, your relationships with friends. You know what I mean? Just everything in life. It's you're the dictator of your future.
Absolutely, man. It's like we all make mistakes, or sometimes legitimately things are out of your hands, but by being accountable, you give yourself the best chances to succeed. And by being accountable, there's still time to change the road you're on or whatever. You know what I mean?
Like, absolutely, man. And that's one of the things too, man, is like being able to live with your mistakes and letting things go. Yep. Yeah, man. Just push forward, man. Just on to the next. Because I've made mistakes. I've had bad interviews. I've had bad shows. I've had friendships not work out, relationships, all sorts of things. But I think it's just how you deal with it afterwards.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it's just like, like striving to do good stuff for successful or excellence, like Michael Jordan didn't make every shot, you know what I mean? But the point is to continue to keep working hard and shoot the ball, take your chance. If you're working, you're going to get there sooner or later.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I love it. I love the NBA. So I totally get it. I watch basketball like religiously. So
oh yeah, same here. I remember I was fortunate enough to, like, back in the 90s when the Blazers used to be awesome. Like, my mom would get season tickets and stuff, and so, or part of a package, and so I got to see all the cool basketball games. So that's like my analogy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, so shit.
So your new project, it's gonna have like a modern core thing going on. Let's say, like, with some power metal vocals, kind of an idea.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like I'm trying to go into a more like a more modern type of melodic vocals. Like, I'm talking more like not in a sense like pop.
Okay.
More melodic vocals, but the thing is, it's like more instead of just going into the straight falsetto, it's like it's straight hitting high notes first before you hit that like massive projection. So like, like I love listening to a lot of pop music. Like, one of my favorite female singers, her name is Sia.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love her vocals. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie, I listen to like Ed Sheeran too. And I listen to a lot of like the really big famous pop singers. So the thing is like I want to sing big powerful vocals, but I wanted it to be like powerful where it's like it could be reference to power metal, but the thing is, it's not power metal.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? It's more like I want to have like just, I don't know, a lot of emotion in my vocals. I would say kind of like I don't know, closer to like Freddie Mercury than, I mean, closer to oh my god, what's his name from Journey? Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to strive for a big vocal like that compared to back in the day when I used to like go to like wanting to be like Bruce. Now I'm striving to be like I'm striving to be like Steve Perry.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. I mean,
yeah.
Awesome vocalist, and there's something to be said for like pop music, because the vocals are awesome and the production's real good and everything like that. So having the big wall of vocals is definitely going to be awesome, man.
Oh yeah, no, I've honestly, dude, I've always loved pop music. I've never been like an elitist when it comes to music. I love the blues, I love hip hop, and I love rap, and I always like, I don't know, I've never understood the stigma of people not going out of their genre to listen to music, because it's like you wanted to be a great chef, but you only like cooking one certain way. And it's like, dude, it's like you're never gonna become that great chef you thought you could be if, like, let's say metal was like cooking a steak. It's like, dude, if you just spend your whole life cooking steaks, you're never gonna be be able to do all these other avenues. You'll never know your like full potential, and pop music always gets a lot of crap going, like, oh, they're 4 chords or 4 notes and all that. It's like, dude, don't hate the player, hate the game, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? And they're saying, like, every artist had to grind. All these rappers that be like, oh, now they're just famous and all that. They used to like record little mixtapes, and like they used to like go to shows and hand it to people. They used to play little underground clubs. Like, everybody started somewhere. Just because they're rich and have jewelry now, it doesn't mean they didn't start somewhere. Same with pop singers and all that.
I think that like metal, for example. Like, I love metal.
Oh, me too.
Absolutely. But like, there's metal I don't like. You know what I mean? So I guess listening to other styles of music is kind of like eating food. Like that analogy where, you don't want to eat steak every day. And if you want to be good at something, the more you know about all of cooking, the more you're going to be skilled.
Yeah.
And the more options you have, or more colors on the palette to paint with or whatever. So I get it, man. And I think that, artists, everybody does start somewhere. Obviously, there's examples of people that have a leg up, people that were able to spend the money to do things, or like be able to, I would invest in themselves. Let's put it that way. But, everybody had to work. And that's the thing. Even if Taylor Swift, look at her. I mean, she's absolutely, one of the best selling artists of all time. yes, she had some help and this and that, but the bottom line is she's still doing it.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say, her dad used to hustle like he used to rent out tour buses.
yeah, he was a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch, an investor.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I mean, and here's the thing. I know people get like a leg up and people get a lot of help, but the thing is that shouldn't like deter your path, to success either, because everybody's path is different.
Absolutely
You know what I mean?
not. Absolutely not.
So it's like I think when people focus, like they want to accomplish their dreams, they need to put more focus on why, on how they could do it instead of why they're not doing it.
Absolutely, and that's part of the discipline and accountability thing.
Yeah.
And I think somebody else's success is inconsequential to my own. If anything, watching other people be successful just tells me that it can be done. That's how I think of it anyway.
No, absolutely, man. No, 100%. Like, dude, like me and my son, like we live with my sister. You know what I mean? And then sometimes when I accomplish all these, I accomplish some things. It always blows my mind that like I'll call my boss in the radio show. I'll be like, look what a little radio show in Ashland is doing, and or like, look, it's like, because the thing is, it's like, man, if you work hard, man, things will happen. You know what I mean? And also one of the things I've been doing, which I'm really happy, and I'm not posting this on Facebook for a reason because I'd be adding into it. This last month I've been on Facebook 75% less than I have in like years, because your phone tells you when you've been on apps. And I've actually been it's my computer's actually been telling me I've been on my editor and like my YouTube and my content creating 75% of the time. So,
Awesome.
so one of the things I'm going to slowly start doing is that I'm going to try to move to Instagram with everything, and once I build that big enough, I'm going to completely delete everything on Facebook.
There you
go. For the reason that Facebook has just become like really unsafe. I feel like, like everybody is able to get hacked and lose pages left and right. I feel like it's a good outlet for advertisement, but at the same time, I feel like it is surely dying compared to like other outlets. You know what I mean? Like I get 1/100th of the recognition on Facebook than I do on any other outlets. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
so when I get off Facebook, like I don't like, I always tell people too when they're on Facebook, like don't get discouraged, man, because it isn't about likes and shares. Sometimes it's about getting that constant grind. You know what I mean? Like there's more. It's like if you're treating Facebook like the steak, like there's different other avenues that you can go to. So it's like, eventually, I might start. I do have a Twitter, but the thing is, it's like, yeah, like, and one of the things doing that, man, is like when you're on Facebook, you're constantly just like, I mean, it's cool to like, I like going on there to like, celebrate like my friends and birthdays and all that, but I'm trying to strictly use it just for that because because honestly, dude, I get so happy creating content all day. You know what I mean? I'll spend 6 to 7 hours making videos, and then I'll spend 6 to 7 hours uploading and editing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it takes time. And like you're talking about Instagram, you can have it where your Instagram posts will go to your Facebook anyway.
Exactly.
So, and I mean, Facebook's cool. I think though that, like you said, it's kind of like dying is not the right word, but it's kind of like
yeah.
For artists, musicians, it's definitely becoming a lesser and lesser viable platform in some ways. But just like MySpace went away, something will eventually come along and replace Facebook. And just like you said, Facebook is not the indicator of success. Just because something's popular on Facebook or not popular doesn't mean it doesn't have any value, or it does. So there's other avenues out there for sure.
Yeah, I know for sure. And I'm not trying to take anything away from people like using Facebook. What I'm basically trying to say is that like the scrolling through Facebook, like they're constantly promoting violence, sexuality, things that just really like I feel like can distract the mind. You know what I mean? Like how Facebook algorithms work. They're always promoting like drama first, or just like some sort of confrontation. You know what I mean? And honestly, it's like I feel like it just hurts the brain. It hurts the brain's creativity. And you're talking to somebody who spent a lot of time on Facebook all the time. And sometimes it looks like I'm always posting, but I'll post it, but then I'll just stay off because it's like I remember when I first started playing guitar and I didn't have all these distractions. Like playing guitar for hours straight You know what I mean? Like when that was the thing, you turned your amp on and like that was it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, am I recording yet or anything? And like, and at times I felt like I mean, I feel like I'm like before Facebook, like sometimes I felt like I wasn't as disciplined.
Absolutely, man. Like
You
there
know,
was
but
less distractions.
yeah, but I think that's to each their own, because obviously there's a lot of disciplined people out there that still practice and advertise, but at the same time it's like um man, it's like I don't know, man. I'm really trying to focus on grinding right now and just trying to stay off social media as much as possible, you know, until I have something to show for it. But at the same time, it's like it's really distracting. It takes so many hours out of your day.
Oh, absolutely. Like, and anytime, you spend like, just scrolling through your phone or your computer, you could spend doing other things like creating something. And I mean, just cranking out the content, and I think it's fulfilling too. Like when you're, putting stuff out there and people enjoy it and this and that. So I'd rather, spend my time doing something that adds something to the world than just, scrolling through and, saying negative stuff or, or whatever.
Oh yeah. But at the same time, these are just like my opinions, my opinion on it. And if it works for somebody, then it works for somebody.
For sure.
I mean,
there's more than one way to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just things I'm trying to work on, because I just I don't know. I'd rather just focus on things. I don't know. I've been happier working than scrolling.
Yeah,
So nowadays, like I don't even scroll anymore because I can't. It's just it's like what these online devices and everything has into our brain is just so messed up, man. We're so overstimulated that things aren't like as great as they used to be. Like I remember like now there's all these platforms to watch TV shows and movies. I remember back in the day like renting a movie from Blockbuster and I knew it was my turn to put my movie into the VCR when I got home, and you made a whole day out of it. You invited your friends, everybody circled around the TV. You ordered a pizza, and everybody sat down and legit watched this movie. You know what I mean? And nowadays it's like I got options. Oh, I can listen to this band. You know, it's like it's so much on the brain, man. And
yeah.
I feel like cutting out social media. Like I like using it as a business platform, but I'm only trying to do it as that, and then just stay off of it. I mean, of course, I like posting memes and talking about my son, but I can't overdo it anymore, dude. I'm 34. I can't. I don't want to.
Right.
I refuse.
Yeah, there's better things to do for sure, man. Like, a million different things. But I don't know, man. If it's working for other people, whatever.
Exactly.
But social media is a double-edged sword, and like you said, like options and this and that. Like you're trying to watch something or this and that. And it's like there's a million different things, and so you're indecisive as to what. I mean, just how much time it takes just to like make a decision on something because it's just like a flood of stuff.
Yeah, it's hardcore, man.
Anyway, Omar, about to wrap it up, dude. But anything you want to say before we go?
For any information on anything I do, go to the metalmixtape.com. Hey, also thank you for pronouncing it right. Nobody ever pronounces it because everybody always calls it Metal Mixtape, and you're one of the only people that call it the Metal Mixtape. So thank you for that.
No problem.
You could also check out medfordmetalfest.com, and also check out my YouTube channel, the Metal Mixtape, and yeah, the metalmixtape.com, medfordmetalfest.com, the Metal Mixtape on YouTube, and also my new comedy club is called Shredder Comedy, because we're gonna have a heavy metal house band throughout the whole comedy show. So
awesome.
Yeah, because you know how like if you watch Conan, they have like the band play music as the guest is walking up.
Yeah.
We're basically gonna have that, but metal.
That's killer, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, Matt, thank you so much for your time, man. You're accomplishing great things. I appreciate you creating another platform for artists to talk about music and express themselves, and I'm super happy and excited to see what your future is going to continually bring.
Hey, thanks a lot, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show. Talk to you again soon, dude. Keep kicking ass, man.
Cool.
All right. Later.
All right, later, man.